Hi, I'm Adam Mackintosh, and I'm here today on behalf of Music Over Miles to talk to you about tuning by ear. That is, making your instrument stay in tune with itself. Now, ideally, you're already tuned to a greater thing, like a piano or a keyboard or a tuner, ideally. But once you are in tune to that thing, how do you stay in tune using just your ear? I'm going to show you how. All right, hey everybody, let's talk about tuning. It seems like the most boring topic. However, you'll quickly come to understand that not tuning is really the worst thing you can do to yourself as a musician for a number of reasons. And also to other people. If you take a second, slow down and listen to the way that I'm going to tell you how to tune, how to go about tuning. It will take all of the fear or hesitation you might have away from tuning, and you'll be able to overcome it and kind of integrate it into your playing as the thing I like to think of as, always be tuning. Tune in between songs, tune during songs if you must, right? Definitely tune before recording. You do not want to have the best take you've ever done and come back and have someone tell you, yes, your instrument was in tune, but it was tuned a half step down. So everybody else that's on the recording and all of the digital stuff that's at exactly 440 can't play with you. So you have to do the track again. You would lose that great take. There are many reasons. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of talking and get into this. So the guitar is unique in the way that it tunes. I would say find a tuning app. That's typically the best way to go these days. It's portable and it's always on you. And get yourself an A note or an E note off of there. Either one of those, the sixth or the fifth string, will do. And don't use the app to tune the entire guitar. This is just my recommendation. And I say that because if you do that, you're relying on technology all the time. And you don't always have technology. You're standing on stage in the middle of a song, you're going to have to rely on your ear. And so we want to train your ear to hear whether something is in tune or out of tune. And if it's out of tune, what it is. And anybody can do that. You just have to go through the process. And if you go through the process over and over again, eventually you not only can hear when things are out of tune, but you can hear what's out of tune and in which direction. So it's really, really good for you as a musician to always be tuning. Right? So let's say we've taken an app and gotten ourselves an E note, and that this is E according to the app at 440, which we don't need to go into, but that's what everybody else is tuned to. So we know for a fact that this is tuned to everything else. Turn off the app for a second and try this. So you may find that when you go to find a note on the sixth string, it's hard to remember. Tuning my guitar, I have to go to the fifth fret. You don't need to remember all of that. You just need to know that this is E and know where F, G, and A are, which we'll get into later in an intervals video. But E, F, G, A is the alphabet. So you find an A on this string so that you can tune the next string down to this note, which is A, and the next open string is also supposed to be A. Now I have it intentionally tuned it out of tune, just now as you heard me, and I want you to ask yourself, when I play these two notes, what's the first thing that hits you at a gut level? For me, I hear wah, wah, right? And that wah, wah means it's flat. So think of somebody getting a flat tire, like someone steps on the back of their shoe, or a real flat tire. Wah, wah, it sucks, right? So it's kind of downer. And in that downer sense, it is flat. It's down. It's quite literally below the A note. So that flatness sounds like this, that da, na, wah, wah, even if you do it backwards. Right? So when you sense that with your gut in your ear tells your gut, you know right away that this string, the A, the fifth string, needs to come up because it's flat, right? So if you pick this note and you keep your finger out of the way of the other string, you can reach right over and turn this peg. When you turn the peg, this is what you'll hear. Which direction it's going. We still have wah, wah, so we need to turn it up. You may not know which way that is at first. That's okay. You're not going to break it. So you hear that A note rising up to this A note. But if you listen more closely, you'll hear two waveforms cycling at the same time. That's the sound of two different cycles per second, or 440 cycles per second, as things are tuned to. This one is 440, and this one is something else below that. So I imagine it like two dolphins, right? They're out in the ocean, they're having a blast, and they're just freely leaping out of the water. But one of them is jumping like this, and the other one's jumping like that. And maybe they're coming sort of close, but not really. And then you think of two dolphins in like a SeaWorld type place, which is probably not where they would rather be. But in a SeaWorld type place, they're jumping out at the same time, at least, right? So you can get the visual. We want our wavelengths to jump at the same time or be the same wave. So you hear them get slower. And as they get slower, they're getting closer together or more in tune. When you hear no waves, they're in tune. This E string, E, F, G, A, gave us an A to make this string an A string, or an A note. The A string, an A note. And we did that with our ear. So, when you hear somebody singing, or you hear a chord, or somebody's playing an instrument, trumpet, or singing, this will help you hear flats and sharps. And by that I mean things that are flat and things that are sharp. So let's do the next example, and this is something that is sharp. But intentionally tune this string out. So pretend you didn't hear that. And when you hit the A string on the 5th fret, A, B, C, D, you need a D here to make your D string. And we have this sound between them. My gut immediately goes to sharp. You feel that? That tension? That's the absolute opposite of wah wah. It's like, so we know that this is a D because we tuned this string, A, B, C, D. But this other note, we now know, because because we trusted our ear and our gut, is sharp. So we're going to reach over here and make the waves the same. So almost like they disappear. Okay, so all of the rest of the strings on the guitar tune across the same fret. So really, once you find your A, you just stay on that fret. With the exception of the 1, 2, 3, I'm counting up from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, third string. The third string on the guitar is tuned a half step down. So these two strings, you'll use the 5th fret for your E, A, D string. But then when you go to use E, A, D, D, E, F, G, D, E, F, G, G, to make a G note for this G string, G, A, B, B, on the 4th fret is the one that you need to drop down for to make a B note. And the way that you can calculate that when we get into intervals later and you know how that system works is you can just say the alphabet. You know the names of the strings, you're good. E, A, D, G, B, E. 2 of them are E's. That knocks those out right away. So you really only have to think of 4. You should absolutely know the names of the strings because that's what will allow you to find your way to the notes you need to tune the strings next to them. You don't know the name of this string, how are you going to get to this note? And if you don't know how to get to this note, how are you going to tune this string, which you don't know the name of? So this is a G. G, A, because there's no H in music, G, A, B will get you a B note. And if you know that this is a B string on the guitar, which in fact it is, then you know that you need another B note to tune it to. Sounds a little sour to me. I'm going to go ahead and drop it way down below so that I can come up to it and just for good measure, know that I've tightened it right up to the spot of being in tune. So the other thing about guitars, you go back to the 5th fret for your E. The other thing about guitars is they'll go out of tune all by themselves while you're playing them in the case. They get hot in the back seat of a car or a trunk. They might go out of tune. If you leave them sitting for a long time, they will go out of tune, typically. If you leave them out somewhere where your friends or a little brother or sister can get to them, they will go out of tune. And so my advice to you is use your ear after you get an E from an amp or somewhere. A tuner is fine, of course. Use your ear to develop it for all of those reasons that I mentioned. Knowing which note is higher than the other. Knowing, okay, I have this one and then I've got that sharp sound. Okay, that's sharp sounding because that's going to translate to you hearing a trumpet or a singer or yourself singing later and going, that sounds flat to the music or that sounds sharp to the music because it gives me this tense feeling or it gives me this wah-wah feeling. So it's really valuable to you to tune. It will make you a better musician. It will make you sound better at everything you do. Instantly. A lot better than being out of tune. And it will spare everyone around you from having to listen to you play out of tune. It's really embarrassing, kind of, when someone's playing along with, say, a band or their acoustic and someone's singing and their guitar is out of tune and you can tell that they don't know it. So you don't want to be that person. Tune your instrument and you'll have think a Telecaster likes to tune to this weird chord. But if you tune your instrument, you'll have great sounding chords, and when you play any of your notes, single notes, they'll also be in tune with the song. And you'd be surprised, just by a little bit, if this note is out, and not that note, it sounds terrible when you're playing lead. And I don't want you to wonder, why do my leads sound so bad when it's something as simple as tuning? So always be tuning is the takeaway. Once you know the intervals, you'll be able to find your spot on the neck. You'll be able to use the 5th fret to tune. You're going to make the waves disappear. And the only exception to everything that I told you is the 3rd string. You have to tune from the 4th fret, and that'll be absolutely obvious after the intervals section.